Hello, wonderful human beings. I am recording this voiceover in the forest for some extra magical power to you. This is a beginner's yoga class. So we're going back to the basics. Yes, Lana Del Rey reference. Okay, starting on hands and knees. You want to get your shoulders above your wrists and your hips above your knees. And we're going to do cat-cow, which is a very simple spinal flexion and extension to help lubricate the spine. For cow, take a deep breath in as you drop your belly to the floor, lifting your chest and your tailbone upwards, and gaze slightly forward. For cat, take a deep breath out, round your spine up to the sky, tuck your chin towards your chest, and bring your belly button in towards your spine. Take your time with these movements, flowing in and out, connecting them with your breath. So that's really the goal here, is being aware of your breathing and moving with your breath. Breathing in for cow and breathing out for cat. Amazing. Let's move into plank pose, building core strength and stability. Step both your feet back, creating a straight line from your head to your ankles. Your shoulders should still be stacked above your wrists, and your neck is also in line with your spine, so no crunching. Try your best not to sink your hips too far low or high. You want to use your core to keep you in a straight line, just like a plank. Lower down now onto your forearms. In preparation for Sphinx pose, we'll lower our knees to the mat, untuck our back toes, dropping the hips and lifting the chest upwards, making sure that shoulders are stacked above elbows. For my friends with wrist issues, you can always modify yoga by coming down onto your forearms. Use your core and your back muscles to keep you lifted and strong in this pose. We're going to move into downward dog next. So tuck your back toes, lower your chest to the mat if you need to. Place your hands near your rib cage. Squeeze your core. You can keep your knees on the mat to lift up your hips, straightening your legs as much as feels comfortable while your hips are reaching for the sky. Then your chest drops, your head hangs heavy, fingers are spread wide and shoulders relaxed away from the ears. You can begin pedaling your feet, so bending one knee at a time as the opposite heel reaches for the mat. Just play around with this movement, see how it feels within your body, and reconnect to your breath. Noticing and consciously taking deep inhales and releasing any worries, doubts, fears with your exhales. Let it all go. Shift your gaze up in between your hands, bend your knees and begin walking up towards your hands, keeping a slight micro bend in the knees now and grabbing opposite elbows. We're just going to hang here, releasing tension in the neck, in the jaw, and letting the hamstrings begin to lengthen. Slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, begin rolling your body up to standing. Finding mountain pose, a foundational yoga posture that promotes grounding and stability within yourself. Bring your feet together or hips width apart, pressing firmly into all four corners of your feet. Engage your legs by slightly raising your kneecaps and find length in your spine all the way to the top of your head, as if there was a string pulling the top of your head up to the sky. Then roll your shoulders up, back, and down, and cultivate that inner strength that will be with you throughout the rest of your practice and your day. Take a deep inhale as you raise both arms up to the sky. And then on your out breath, lower your hands to the mat, knees can be slightly bent. Take a deep breath in and lift your chest so you have a flat back. Your hands can be on your shins. Breath out, hands to mat, step back into plank pose. And from plank, we are going to practice chaturanga. So keeping your elbows next to your ribs, begin to lower down almost as if a push-up until you reach halfway towards the mat, so your elbows are 90-degree angle. Slide your chest forward and up. You'll naturally roll over your toes to be on the tops of your feet, and then straighten your arms, reaching your chest up to the sky, engaging your core, and trying to lift your thighs off the mat, but it's okay if they stay on the mat. We're gonna move back into downward facing dog using the strength of our core muscles, lifting the hips up to the sky, rolling over our toes, dropping the chest, seeing if we can find more length this time. Take a deep breath in and breathe out, sinking deeper into this posture, relaxing the shoulders even more. Your chest is reaching towards your knees. Keeping both your hips level to the mat, begin to lift your right foot as much as you can up to the sky. Squeezing your belly, now bring that foot in between your hands and place it on the mat. You can adjust yourself as needed here, wiggling your toes, moving your foot in whichever way needed to feel most comfortable. Then drop the knee of the left leg and raise both arms to the sky for low lunge. Here are some options for this pose. You can tuck your back toes for a little more stability. You can place a blanket under your knee for support. And instead of having your arms raised, they can be placed on your knee. And just try to sink your hips deeper to the ground. Grabbing opposite elbows behind my back now. This is going to open up the shoulders even more as lifting the chest up to the sky, creating a deeper stretch in the psoas muscle that's connecting your thigh to your core. Untangle your hands and bring them back to the mat, tucking your back toes and stepping your right foot to meet the left. We're in plank and we will now lift our hips back up into downward facing dog. We're now going to lift our left heel up to the sky, keeping the hips level and squeezing your core. So much of yoga really boils down to the stability and fire we create in our core muscles. Bend the left knee if you wish, and begin to swing that leg in between your hands, placing the foot on the mat. We're going to lower our right knee to the mat, untucking the toes if you wish, lifting the chest and arms up to the sky. Take a deep breath in here. And as you breathe out, let your hips sink deeper towards the floor, melting with each breath. Feel free to open your arms out to the side or to grab opposite elbows behind your back. Anything to expand your chest, opening that heart chakra or heart space. Because where the body opens, the soul follows. The mind follows, and we're connecting body, mind, and soul through our practice of yoga. Be open to receive all the goodness that you deserve. Placing hands back on the mat, tucking the back toe and stepping the left foot to meet the right. Gonna find ourselves in plank here. And lower down for chaturanga, elbows near your ribs into a push-up, pushing our chest forward and up for upward facing dog. The whole body is active here. And a reminder for my friends with funky wrists, you can always come down onto your forearms for Sphinx. Hold this pose and let your gaze find a single point in front of you, your drishti, focus. If you are Sphinx, find your upward facing dog or lift your hips directly into downward facing dog. By putting equal pressure into all portions of your hands and mostly in your fingertips, you're releasing pressure on the wrists here. Gently look in between your hands and let your feet follow as you walk towards them. Inhale to lift the chest so the torso is parallel to the mat. And exhale, lower your chest and hands to the mat. Engaging the core and the legs, take a breath in as you lift all the way up to standing. Once again, finding our mountain pose. Reconnecting with our breath and with that stability that we cultivated at the start of our practice. We're going to put all those pieces together and continue with another sun salutation, Surya Namaskar. Bending the knees slightly, we're going to inhale, raising our arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, bring hands to mat. Inhale, lift your chest for flat back. Exhale, place your hands on the mat and step back into plank. Lower down for chaturanga. And inhale, move your chest forward and up for upward facing dog. Exhale, lift your hips up and straighten your legs for downward facing dog. Trying your best to keep up with this breathing pattern, but of course, breathe however feels comfortable for you. Gonna inhale, lift the right heel up to the sky. Exhale, bring your foot forward and step it in between your hands. Gonna drop the back heel of the left foot. So that left foot is at a 45-degree angle from the top of your mat. Lifting your arms up for warrior one. Be mindful of your back knee as to not over twist it when squaring or turning your hips to the front of the mat, although your hips might naturally point a little bit towards the left-hand side. A gentle reminder that if you feel any sharp pain, tingling, or numbness sensations, to safely get out of the pose. Now open your hips to the side of the mat, spread your arms wide with gaze over your front fingertips for warrior two. Your spine is straight, you're not tilting or dipping in the hips. Drop the left hand to the back of the left thigh. Open your chest up to the sky, raising the right arm up, and gaze is in that direction as well. Slowly begin to straighten that front leg and notice the sensations in your side body. We're going to move on to the other side. So lowering that right arm, bringing your hands to your hips, we're going to pivot over the heels. So the right foot turns in to the side of the mat and the left foot turns out, pointing to the back of your mat. Adjust your footing as needed and sink into your hips, bending that left knee. Going to raise our arms to the sky, point our chest and our hips, squaring them to the back of the mat, and breathing through this, always returning to our breath. On your next exhale, open up to the side of the mat for warrior two. Arms are wide, gaze is over the front fingertips. Engaging your legs, staying strong in both legs. Reverse your warrior, right arm to right thigh, left arm reaches overhead. Also consciously embodying the principles of each pose, so you are a warrior in these poses. Feel that, evoke that nature within you. Going to straighten our left leg now, bringing your feet in towards each other if you need to. Stretching the side body. And lower your arms to your hips, once again pivoting over the heels to turn your toes to the side of the mat. And then pedal heel toe until you are at standing. Now we're going to work a little bit on our balance with tree pose. Begin in mountain with your feet together and start to shift your weight onto that left foot. You can tap the mat with your right foot and then slowly begin to open that right knee to the side. Place your hands on your hips and imagine your hips as a bowl of water. You want to keep that bowl level, not tipping to one side. Now you can keep your right toe placed on the mat on the inside of your ankle, or you can lift that right foot and place it on the inside of your shin. Press your foot into your leg and your leg back into your foot for equal energy exchange and stability. The hands are at heart center in prayer, or you can raise them to the sky for your full expression of tree. The stability and groundedness that you felt in mountain pose is something that you want to bring into tree pose as well. Then turn your knee in, that right foot, and place it back on the mat, jumping, shaking it out as we move on to the other side. Finding your mountain pose, placing your hands on your hips and beginning to shift the weight now onto your right foot. The left toes are tapping the mat and you're opening that hip to the side. Keeping your foot on the mat, or placing it on the inside of your shin or above your knee and the upper thigh area, but avoiding the knee. Find your stability, your center, your concentration. Mindful breathing. And then express your tree, maybe bringing your hands to the sky, bringing your palms together. Try to unflare your ribs, so you're tucking them back in to maintain a straight line, just like in plank pose. From your head all the way to your heels. Lower your arms to your hips, turn the left knee in, and release this pose. We will complete our class with Malasana, a deep squat that opens the hips and strengthens the legs. Step your feet a little bit wider than hips width apart, usually at the edges of our mat, and your toes pointed slightly outwards. Slowly begin to lower your hips, but keeping your back straight as far as you can go. Keep your heels grounded on the mat or place a folded blanket underneath your heels. Bring your palms together at your heart space and use your elbows to gently push the knees open, lengthening the spine and lifting the chest. You're actively squeezing your glutes and your core here and holding for several breaths. We're going to transition now into our final resting pose, Shavasana. For balance, place your hands in front of you on the mat. But come up onto your toes and place your hands behind you in a way where you can lower down into a seated position. And then extending your legs in front of you, lowering all the way onto your back. I would demonstrate for you, but the tide came in and my mat got completely soaked. So I trust that you'll find your way onto your back. And get yourself comfy, maybe a pillow under your head, maybe a blanket over your body. Placing your arms to the side, or you can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and just feel the natural rhythm of your body. Consciously bring your attention to your face. Relax all the little muscles in your face, your scalp. And work your way all the way down your body, relaxing your jaw, your shoulders, both arms, your belly, your hips, thighs, knees. Relaxing your calves, your ankles, your toes. Taking a deep breath in and deep breath out, feel even heavier on the mat. Just completely letting go. Our quote for today is, "Kindness is love actualized." So go do something kind for someone today, and that includes yourself. You can stay in Shavasana as long as you wish, or you can begin to wake up your body by wiggling your toes and your fingers and finding your way to a seated position. If you have any questions about yoga, feel free to ask. I'm so proud of you for doing this beginner's class, and I wish you a lovely rest of your day.